After first being proposed in 2008, 12 years ago, TC Energy's Keystone XL pipeline is finally being built with the support of the Alberta Government. And at $4 a barrel oil, this couldn't come at a more welcome time.
I am pleased to announce that the Government of Alberta has finalized an agreement with Calgary-based TC Energy to invest in the completion of the Keystone XL pipeline. Alberta is making a $1.5 billion equity investment in Keystone XL this year, followed by a $6 billion loan guarantee next year. Construction will begin in Alberta immediately at the Canada-US border, as well as in the United States. This agreement marks the culmination of 6 months of negotiations and rigorous work by government officials and industry experts to ensure that we minimize risk for Alberta taxpayers and maximize the benefits of this historic investment.
That's right, friends. TC Energy, formerly known as TransCanada Pipelines, but, having Canada in the name of your energy company these days can be a bit of a buzzkill for investors, is finally building that pipeline after a decade of turmoil at the hands of first Obama, then Notley, and now Trudeau. Seems like Premier Jason Kenney knew 6 months ago that Trudeau would never get out of the way of Alberta. So Kenney went around the feds and offered $1.5 billion in support and another $7 billion in loan guarantees to TC Energy. Now, the difference here between Justin Trudeau purchasing the Trans Mountain Pipeline in 2018 for $4.5 billion, a figure that has since, of course, ballooned in size, is that that pipeline seems to be purchased to ensure that it never gets built. And this one is being invested in to immediately build it at a time of crisis unprecedented in nearly the last 100 years. Now, as much as I loathe government getting its inept hands into private industry, these are extraordinary times, and when Trudeau is bailing out everyone from Bombardier to the mainstream media while ignoring the slaughter happening in the oil patch, or perhaps purposefully exacerbating the slaughter with a carbon tax hike and extra regulations in the anti-pipeline bill C-69, a bill that had gender considerations shoehorned into it, something had to be done. Help, though, was promised by Federal Finance Minister Bill Morneau to the energy sector within, quote, hours or maybe days. However, that help never, ever came. Instead, another media bailout and a bailout for charities, including the environmental kind that lobby against Canadian oil and gas, well, that did come. As I'm filming this video, Western Canadian Select is sitting around $4 a barrel, which for those of you keeping track at home is cheaper than a pint of beer in your local pub if it were allowed to be open, and it's cheaper than a gallon of Canada's overpriced supply managed milk. Yes. The construction of the Keystone XL pipeline doesn't just create jobs on the pipeline and in pipeline construction, but this will protect upstream oil and gas jobs on drilling rigs and trucking to get oil into the pipeline. According to the Canadian Association of Oil Well Drilling Contractors, a single working drilling rig supports an additional 175 direct and indirect jobs. And really, the writing was on the wall that help was never coming to the oil patch in the midst of a pandemic shutdown anyway. Just look at this tweet from the former Environment Minister, now Infrastructure Minister, Catherine McKenna, as Alberta is being absolutely hammered by low oil prices. She said, "After we get through COVID-19, the world will have a choice: respond with an economic and jobs recovery stimulus that jumpstarts the clean economy and creates meaningful jobs, or not." You see, McKenna doesn't think oil and gas jobs are, quote, meaningful. But what could possibly be more meaningful than liberating from the ground the very energy needed to save lives and run ventilators and keep people warm, healthy, and safe in these dangerous times? These folks are essential workers, recognized as such here in Alberta. And based on how quickly the federal government, was moving to support media, one of those jobs where telecommuting is like the industry standard, I guess, according to the Trudeau government, regurgitating press releases on behalf of him was meaningful, but getting oil out of the ground so truckers have fuel to bring essential supplies to hospital, well, those aren't meaningful jobs. Now, I don't want to say I told you so, but I am truly full of I told you so's today, because I have said all along the only pipeline we will ever see built, at least while Trudeau is in power in Ottawa, is the Keystone XL pipeline, and here we are. Because for all of the Trump hate we see from Canada's mainstream political parties, and I'm talking about all three here, including Conservatives, there has not been a better friend to Alberta and our energy sector than the president currently occupying the White House. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and ring the little bell so you never miss a story. Now, unlike the bought and paid for mainstream media, we won't be taking any bailout money from Justin Trudeau in the time of this pandemic. However, we would appreciate the support of folks like you. If you'd like to support us as we keep the lights on and the doors open and continue to hold the government to account during the pandemic, please go to helprebelnews.com.